The Osiris story is thousands of years old. But does it also hold the key to understanding your life today? Could it really be the blueprint for immortality? Did Osiris truly die so that you may live forever? Forget what you learned in school. This is the Osiris story they don't want you to know. It is the story that predates all the other dying and rising gods like Mithras, Dionysus, and even Jesus of Nazareth. The hidden story that reflects the inner workings of the human condition, the quest for immortality, and the secret symbolism right under our noses. Imagine a god murdered by his own brother, then brought back to life by the magic of his queen. How can you kill a god? Aren't they immortal? Yes and no. This isn't a movie. It's the insane true story of Osiris, the Egyptian god who conquered death and provided humanity with a master plan to live eternally. A plan that would be followed diligently by pharaohs and the people of Egypt for millennia. Witness his son Horus's epic quest for revenge, filled with magic, monsters and battles that will shake the heavens. And the remarkably hidden secret that Set, the big bad, was also not the bad guy you think he is. You think you know the story of Isis and Osiris? Think again. Ancient secrets, hidden meanings, and a twist you won't see coming. The murder of Osiris. Osiris, beloved king of Egypt, ruled with wisdom and kindness. He brought civilization to the land, teaching his people the arts of agriculture and craftsmanship. He was the embodiment of Ma'at. Ma'at was both a goddess and the principle of cosmic order and justice. She was fundamental to Egyptian society, ensuring harmony and balance in all aspects of life. Osiris, as a just and wise ruler, embodied Ma'at. But Osiris's brother Set seethed with envy. He craved the throne and plotted to seize it by any means necessary. But was there something else driving Set's maniacal plans? You see, Set's wife Nephthys was overwhelmed with the desire for Osiris, and she disguised herself as her sister Isis to seduce Osiris. To make matters worse, Set had also pursued Isis, who Osiris had won. To make it more wild, they were all siblings. Set found out about his wife's infidelity and was consumed by jealousy. He devised a cunning plan. He crafted a magnificent chest adorned with gold and jewels, tailored precisely to Osiris's measurements. At a grand banquet, Set unveiled his creation. He challenged the guests. Whoever fit perfectly within the chest would receive it as a gift. Osiris, trusting his brother, lay down within the chest. In an instant, Set slammed the lid shut, sealing it with molten lead. Set cast the chest into the Nile, drowning Osiris and usurping his throne. Egypt was plunged into mourning, and the reign of a just king was tragically cut short. Osiris's story was far from over. He was the god of order, murdered by the god of chaos. The story of Osiris and Set isn't just about good versus evil. Osiris, the murdered king, is more than just a ruler. He is the very essence of order and fertility, the lifeblood of Egypt. He is linked to the Nile's life-giving floods, the source of abundance and prosperity. Just as the Nile nourishes the land, Osiris sustains his people. He represents the pharaoh's just rule, ensuring harmony and stability throughout the kingdom. He is the embodiment of Ma'at, the cosmic order that governs the universe. So why then is a beloved king murdered? Is there more here than meets the eye? Set, his brother and murderer, is the antithesis of Osiris. He is chaos, the storm, the untamed desert wind. He disrupts the established order, challenging the very foundations of society. But Set is not pure evil. He represents the necessary force of change, the catalyst for transformation. Was there a necessity for change in the rule of Osiris? Could there be a reason for the end of Osiris's reign? Like a wildfire that clears away dead wood from a forest, Set makes way for the new, creating the opportunity for greater order to emerge. Chaos is not the opposite of order, but its counterpart. It breaks down the old to make way for the new. Something greater was on the horizon, a new king of Egypt and a new king of the dead. All made possible by Set. He is the force of destruction that ultimately leads to renewal. In the struggle between Osiris and Set, we see the eternal dance of order and chaos, the forces that shape our world and drive our evolution. It is a reflection of the hypercosmic tale of the sun god Ra and his eternal battle against the serpent of chaos named Apophis. While Ra battles Apophis on a cosmic level, his sons maintain the same battle in the realm of the living. They are an image of his story, a facsimile of his grand play. The quest to conquer death. Isis is consumed by grief, but refused to accept her husband's fate. She embarked on a perilous journey, determined to find Osiris's body and bring him back to life. Aided by her sister Nephthys, she searches up and down the Nile. But it was no use. The coffin had floated out to sea. She takes to the sea, never ceasing her search for her lost love. Finally, she discovered the chest, washed ashore near Byblos. But what she finds there will shock you. Osiris's coffin has become part of a sacred tree, the acacia tree. The king of Byblos had discovered the glowing tree and admired it so much that he chopped it down and made it the centerpiece of his hall. How will Isis get it back, and what will she do when she finally sees her husband again? Isis, ever the clever queen, uses a disguise and some divine magic to sneak into the palace. She even grants the prince immortality. How? She convinces the king to stand in a fire each night to burn away his mortal elements. Is this foreshadowing? Does Isis mean to break the natural laws and revive her husband? Meanwhile, she transforms herself into a swallow, circling the pillar of Osiris and laments her lost love. She reveals the coffin embedded in the great acacia tree. After convincing the king of her divinity, he relinquishes his prized possession. But her joy was short-lived. Set, ever vigilant, snatched the chest and, in a fit of rage, dismembered Osiris's body into 14 pieces, scattering his remains across the land. Undeterred, Isis, aided by her sister Nephthys, began a desperate search. Piece by piece, they recovered Osiris's remains, scouring every corner of Egypt. Isis sought the counsel of her parents, Geb and Nut, the primordial earth and sky gods. She sought their wisdom on how to reclaim his body and restore balance to Egypt. She transforms herself into a great bird with keen eyesight to spot the glittering fragments of her beloved husband. Talk about a scavenger hunt from hell. Piece by piece, they recover Osiris, every fragment a testament to her unwavering love. But can she really put him back together and conquer death? With the help of Anubis, the god of the dead, she reassembles his body into the first mummy. She recruits Thoth, the lord of wisdom, who reanimates his spine to give him control of his body again. This is later symbolized as the Djed pillar in the future rites of the pharaohs. Together with Nephthys, Isis performs a miracle. She breathed life back into him. But there is one problem. A fish has swallowed the last piece of Osiris, his penis. It can't be recovered. No matter, she's the goddess of magic. Isis grafts a magical phallus onto her husband and conceives a child, but their reunion is short-lived. Osiris is bound to the underworld. Yet, from this tragedy, hope is born. Horus, the falcon-headed god, is conceived. But Osiris's time among the living was over. He descended to the underworld, the Duat, to rule as king of the dead. There he would undergo his own trials that would mirror the challenges his son would face. Isis, now a mother and protector, vowed to keep Horus safe, to raise him to avenge his father and reclaim his rightful throne. But what can we learn from this fragment of the tale? What hidden meaning is revealed when we look a little deeper? Isis, the devoted wife of Osiris, embodies motherhood, magic, and healing. She is the epitome of feminine strength and resilience. Her quest to reassemble Osiris is a powerful symbol of love's enduring power and the triumph of life over death. It is a journey of perseverance fueled by unwavering devotion. This quest represents the human journey to wholeness, the process of gathering our fragmented selves and integrating them into a complete being. It is the alchemical process of transformation, turning darkness into light. Nephthys, the dark sister, represents the shadow self, the hidden aspects we must confront and embrace on our journey to wholeness. Anubis, the god of mummification, symbolizes the process of death and rebirth, the shedding of the old to make way for the new. Thoth, the god of wisdom and writing, represents the power of knowledge and the importance of understanding the mysteries of life and death. Geb and Nut, the primordial parents, symbolize the foundational forces of the universe, the earth and sky, that provide the container for all of creation. Her conception of Horus symbolizes the cyclical nature of generation, and that from chaos comes order of a higher magnitude, an order that will be reinstated as Horus rises to power. The divine support Isis receives signifies the interconnectedness of all beings and the assistance we receive from the universe on our journey to self-realization. Isis's quest teaches us that even in the face of immense loss and fragmentation, love and perseverance can lead to healing and wholeness. It is a journey of transformation, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit, a tale of order overcoming chaos. Osiris, his death and rebirth show us a key element of Egyptian belief, that although we die, we will be reborn should we hold ourselves to the standard of Ma'at. His tale is far from over. His child now lives and embarks on his own epic quest to avenge him and take back his birthright. But how will a child depose a king of chaos? The child, Isis, fearing Set's wrath, fled with the infant Horus to the remote marshes of the Nile Delta. Here, amidst the reeds and waterways, she sought to protect her son from his uncle's murderous intentions. Life in the marshes was harsh. Isis used her magic to provide food and shelter, but danger lurked around every corner. Venomous snakes slithered through the water and wild animals stalked the marshes. Horus grew into a strong and resilient child, learning the ways of the marsh. But Set's spies were relentless, constantly searching for the hidden heir. One day, Set, disguised as a monstrous scorpion, infiltrated the marsh, seeking to poison Horus. But Isis, with her powerful magic, recognized the threat and banished the scorpion back to the desert. Despite the constant danger, Horus thrived under his mother's protection. He was guided by the gods, who sent messengers and protectors to aid him in his trials. Bastet, the fierce lioness goddess, shielded him from harm, while Thoth, the wise ibis god, imparted knowledge and strategy. Even Osiris, though dwelling in the underworld, offered guidance through dreams, preparing Horus for his destined role as king. And Nephthys, Set's own consort, secretly aided Isis in protecting the child, driven by a sense of justice and a desire to see order restored. These divine figures nurtured Horus's growth, shaping him into the hero who would one day avenge his father and reclaim his birthright. Nurtured by his mother's love and guided by divine forces, Horus prepared himself for the day he would confront Set and avenge his father's death. Much like his uncle Set, Horus grew up in the wilds, in the thick of chaos, gaining strength through adversity. Was this something that Isis planned? Not only hiding her son, but testing him by putting him through a series of trials. Trials that would forge him into the ultimate warrior and king? Perhaps she knew that to reclaim his father's throne, Horus would have to undergo a series of trials dictated by the gods. Or were there even larger cosmic forces at work, preparing a king that was born of order and forged by chaos, a synthesis of the duality between the brothers Osiris and Set? This is where Horus, the future king of Egypt, spent his childhood, not in a palace, but in the untamed wilderness. These marshes were more than just a hiding place. They were a crucible, forging Horus into the hero he was destined to become. Each danger he faced, venomous snakes, wild beasts, Set's spies, was a test, strengthening his resilience and courage. This was his initiation, a journey of transformation. He learned to harness the power of nature, the wisdom of the gods, and the strength within himself. Horus's childhood is a mirror to our own inner journey. It reminds us that even in the face of darkness, we can find the light within, overcome our fears, and emerge stronger, wiser, and ready to fulfill our potential. But what of Osiris? Where has he gone? What challenges is he facing? Are they similar to Horus? Cast into the Nile by his treacherous brother, Osiris's journey doesn't end with death and merely tutoring his son via dreams. He descends into the Duat, the Egyptian underworld, a realm of shadows and trials. But Osiris is no ordinary soul. He was once the king, the god of life and fertility. Now he must prove himself worthy of ruling the realm of the dead. He faces the weighing of the heart ceremony, where his deeds are judged against the feather of Maat, the goddess of truth and justice. His heart must be pure to pass into the afterlife. He confronts his deepest fears and insecurities, the shadows that linger within his own soul. He must overcome them to embrace his new role as king of the dead. Through these trials, Osiris undergoes a profound transformation. He sheds his earthly attachments, embraces his mortality, and emerges as a powerful ruler of the underworld. Osiris becomes the judge of the dead, welcoming worthy souls into his kingdom and ensuring the continuity of life's eternal cycle. His story reminds us that death is not an ending, but a transition, a journey into the unknown, where we confront our past and embrace our eternal essence. Osiris becomes more powerful in death than he was in life, leading us to the conclusion that death is not the end, but just the beginning. Horus begins his campaign. Years passed, and Horus, now a powerful warrior, stood before the divine council demanding his birthright. He challenged Set, the usurper, to a series of contests to determine the rightful ruler of Egypt. The contests were fierce and varied. Horus and Set wrestled in the form of hippopotami, battling in the depths of the Nile. They hurled magical spells at each other, shaking the heavens with their power. In a cunning display of strategy, Horus challenged Set to a boat race. He cleverly disguised his wooden boat as a stone, while Set, arrogant and overconfident, carved his boat from solid rock. Set's boat sank immediately, much to the amusement of the gods. Enraged, Set transformed into a hippopotamus and attacked Horus's boat. A fierce battle ensued. Horus, with courage and skill, fended off Set's attacks. But in the chaos, Horus lost his left eye, a sacrifice that would become a powerful symbol of protection. The contests raged on, both Horus and Set suffering injuries. Set, in a particularly brutal encounter, lost a testicle. The gods watched, weighing the strengths and weaknesses of each contender. The trials continued, testing the limits of their strength, cunning, and endurance. The fate of Egypt hung in the balance. Horus, the falcon-headed god, embodies more than just vengeance. He represents continuity, the enduring legacy passed down from father to son. He is justice personified, the righteous heir reclaiming his stolen birthright. His victory over Set is a testament to the triumph of good over evil, of order over chaos. Horus's ascension signifies the restoration of balance after a period of turmoil. He heals the wounds inflicted by Set's chaotic reign, bringing peace and harmony back to Egypt. This journey tells us that justice and righteousness will ultimately prevail. The scales may tip, but they will eventually find equilibrium. The struggle between Horus and Set is not just a static battle, but a dynamic process. Chaos and order are intertwined, each giving rise to the other in an endless cycle of destruction and renewal. From the ashes of the old, a new order arises, stronger and wiser. Horus's ascension embodies this principle, building upon the foundations laid by Osiris, but forging a new path for Egypt. Horus's journey reminds us that challenges and setbacks are inevitable, but they also offer opportunities for growth and transformation. Through perseverance and a commitment to justice, we can overcome adversity and create a better future. The trial of the gods. After decades of trials and tribulations, the divine council finally declared their judgment. Horus, the valiant son of Osiris, was declared the rightful heir to the throne of Egypt. Horus, now king of Egypt, ascended to the throne amidst the joyous cheers of his people. He brought with him the promise of peace and prosperity, a return to the golden age of Osiris. His first act as king was to restore Maat, the divine order disrupted by Set's chaotic reign. He rebuilt temples, restored justice, and ensured the prosperity of his people. He avenged his father's murder, not through vengeance, but by upholding justice and restoring balance to the land. Osiris in the underworld rejoiced at his son's victory. Horus, the falcon-headed king, ruled with wisdom and compassion, ushering in an era of peace and prosperity. He honored his father's legacy, continuing the lineage of just rulers and ensuring the continued flourishing of Egypt. The story of Osiris, Isis and Horus became a cornerstone of Egyptian mythology, a testament to the enduring power of love, justice and the triumph of good over evil. Osiris, the god-king, has fallen, but his death is not an ending but a transition. Just as the sun sets each night only to rise again, Osiris's journey continues in the underworld. In the Duat, Osiris becomes the ruler of the dead, guiding souls through their afterlife journey. He embodies the cyclical nature of life and death, the eternal renewal that governs all existence, the path laid bare for all to see, follow my path and live for eternity. Horus, the sun, rises to take his father's place. He is the continuation of Osiris's legacy, the embodiment of life springing forth from death. This cycle of death and rebirth is central to Egyptian belief. It is a belief that will trickle down through the ages and penetrate other stories and cultures that follow, from Dionysus in Greece to Jesus of Nazareth in Jerusalem. It represents the perpetual transformation and renewal that governs all life, from the flooding of the Nile to the reign of the pharaohs. But what about Set? Despite his transgressions, Set wasn't entirely banished or condemned. The ancient Egyptians recognized that chaos, like Set, was a necessary force in the cosmic balance. Thus, Set was given a crucial role on Ra's solar bark, where his strength and ferocity were used to fend off Apophis, the serpent of chaos who threatened to devour the sun god each night. Set became a part of order, a good guy, could it be? This symbolized that even destructive forces can be harnessed for good, and that a degree of chaos is necessary to maintain the dynamic equilibrium of the universe. Set's initial disruption, though painful, ultimately served to test and strengthen the forces of order, ensuring the continuation of the cosmic cycle. Thus, these ancient Egyptian tales tell us something vital for our lives today. Death is not an end, but a transition. Life is an ongoing journey of growth and evolution, a continuous cycle of endings and beginnings. By embracing this cycle, we can find meaning in both the order and chaos of our lives. We learn to let go of the old, embrace the new, and find strength in the knowledge that even in death, there is renewal. The myth of Osiris, his murder and Horus's revenge is not a single static story. Like the shifting sands of the desert, it has evolved over time, with different versions offering unique perspectives and interpretations. Each of the gods shines a light on what it means to be a human, both divine and mortal. Osiris represents order and fertility. He is linked to the Nile's life-giving floods, the pharaoh's just rule, and the harmonious cycles of nature. He is the force that brings forth life and sustains it. Order is essential for growth and stability. It provides the framework for society, the predictability of seasons, and the foundation upon which life flourishes. Seth embodies chaos and destruction. He is the storm, the desert, the force that disrupts and challenges the established order, but he is not purely evil. He represents necessary change. Chaos is not the opposite of order, it is its counterpart. It breaks down the old, making way for the new. It is the catalyst for evolution and transformation, a force of destruction that ultimately leads to renewal. Horus represents continuity, justice, and the triumph of life over death. He embodies the enduring legacy of his father and the restoration of balance after chaos. Justice and righteousness will ultimately prevail. The cycle of chaos and order is not a static struggle, but a dynamic process that leads to growth and evolution. From the ashes of the old, a new order arises, stronger and wiser. But beyond the personal drama, the conflict between Horus and Set embodies a deeper struggle. The eternal battle between order and chaos, civilization and savagery. Horus, the rightful heir, represents Ma'at, the divine order that governs the universe. Set, the usurper, embodies the forces of chaos that seek to disrupt and destroy. The myth also speaks to the cyclical nature of life and death. Osiris's death and resurrection symbolize the cycle of the seasons, the flooding and receding of the Nile, and the continuous renewal of life. Osiris, the god of the underworld, represents death and rebirth. Isis, the devoted wife and mother, embodies magic, healing, and the power of love. Horus, the avenging son, is the archetypal hero, the champion of justice. Set and Nephthys are the catalysts for growth, forcing us to challenge and improve systems of power. These powerful symbols resonate throughout Egyptian culture. They appear in the pyramid texts, the coffin texts, the Book of the Dead, and even in the writings of Greek historians like Plutarch. Each source offers a unique perspective, adding layers of meaning and complexity to the story. The myth has captivated people for millennia, inspiring countless works of art, literature, and religious practice. The story of Osiris, Isis, and Horus is more than just a myth. It's a reflection of the human condition, a timeless tale of love, loss, revenge, and the eternal struggle between order and chaos. It offers profound insights into the ancient Egyptian worldview, reminding us that even in the face of death and chaos, life and justice can and always will prevail. So long as we do our part to aid the gods in maintaining the balance and live in the light of Ma'at. But Osiris's story isn't unique. Across cultures and throughout time, we encounter these figures who die and are reborn. Mithras, the Persian god of light, sacrificed a bull and was resurrected, bringing life to the world. Inanna, the Sumerian queen of heaven, descended into the underworld only to rise again, symbolizing the cycle of seasons and the promise of renewal. Dionysus, the Greek god of wine and ecstasy, was torn apart and reborn, representing the death and rebirth of nature. And then there's Jesus. The parallels are undeniable: betrayal, sacrifice, resurrection, the promise of eternal life for those who believe. Is this a coincidence? Or is there a deeper universal truth echoing through these myths? A roadmap to living a righteous life, in the order and light of Ma'at, as the Egyptians believed, or in accordance with God's will, as Christians profess. A path that leads to eternal life, whether it's in the field of reeds or the kingdom of heaven. Perhaps these stories, from Osiris to Jesus, are more than just myths. Perhaps they are powerful metaphors, spiritual guides, reminding us that even in darkness there is hope, that death is not the end but a transformation, and that by living a life of virtue, of love and of service, we too can achieve a form of immortality.